to you today about the importance of social networking. And I could spend this whole time trying to talk you into it, but instead what I'd like to do is show you some examples of how people are actually using social networking to benefit, whether it be their business or their organizations, and they're doing a really fantastic job. So we're going to see those kind of things. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about us and what we do. We are web designers, first and foremost, and we build custom websites from the ground up. And what I mean by that is we don't use templates. We have a design team, down to the buttons. We build those websites. And the reason we're able to do that is we're graphic designers, so we help brand businesses. We do logo work, we do print work, and things like that. And we're also online marketing developers. And what I mean by online marketing developer is we create ads for particular websites. Let's say there's a popular website, maybe a newspaper website, and we take our clients and we build their ads and we try to drive traffic to their websites, and that's pretty much what we all want to do. Also, we're social media developers, which is why I'm here today, and we were kind of on the, I would say we started doing it before most people, because we had used Facebook and Twitter and different things, and we realized early on that there was really a way for you to connect with whether it be the people that you represent or your customers in a way that was not possible through a static website. And I want to point out, websites are great. That's what we do. So they're wonderful and you need to have them, but at the same time they're kind of static. And as far as updating your website, you have to get in touch with your designer, you got to call him up, tell them the changes. With social networking, you can put the information out so very quick. So we do a lot of social media development. But above all of these things, what we really are at Hatfield Taylor is we're really, really big nerds. Right? And the reason I say that is because we're so into new technology. We're into what people are doing. I think that the people that are in my generation, they're so creative and they're doing things that are really, really groundbreaking and can change the way that we actually do things from day to day. All right? So what I'd like to do is tell you a quick story. And it's kind of going to start us off going in the right direction. And I don't want to talk to you about statistics today. I don't want to talk to you about numbers today. That stuff's boring to me. All right? So what we're going to talk about is how people are using it. How are they affecting the people that they represent, or how are they getting in touch with their customers? So I'd like to start. You imagine yourself walking down a busy street, and you have a downtown area with a brick wall, and there's a blind man, and sitting up against the wall. And he's got a cup, and he has a sign that says, "Blind, please help." And people are walking by, they're not noticing the man. He's walking by day after day. So a man has noticed no one's been helping him out. He knew he really had an issue, and he really needed help. So he asked him, "Would you mind if I take this sign and write something on the back of it and give it back to you?" He said, "Absolutely, because this isn't working." So the man writes something on the back, and he hands it back to him. And before you know it, people are walking down the street, and his cup is overflowing. They keep throwing money in the cup. He has to pour it back into his pocket, puts it out, it fills up again. And he asked, "What exactly did you write on the back of my sign to make people respond to me?" And what he wrote is this: "It's a beautiful day, but I can't see it." He changed the way that he was presenting the issue at hand. So people were able to put themselves into that man's shoes and understand more about him, and it caused an action. And that's what we want to do with social networking. People do not relate to simple statements. Okay, you've got to build a foundation with your social networking. They want to talk to people. They want to have discussions. So what we'll do now is we'll talk about something that happened in Alabama. Janice is full aware. She's actually an Alabama fan, so this is something that affected Janice in a town that's really beloved to her, which is Tuscaloosa. And I was sitting at my desk one day, I was working from home, and I had the TV behind me, and I had it turned on because I knew that there was a particularly volatile storm moving across the country, and it was going to be moving into our area shortly. So I just wanted to keep an eye on it, and I had it on. And I remember hearing the local meteorologist, Rich Thomas, say we have an extremely large tornado moving into Tuscaloosa. And they had it live on television. And as I'm turning around, I quickly think to myself, it's going to be the tornado that we're used to. Maybe it takes some shingles off the roof, knocks a couple signs down. When I turn around, I see this absolutely massive tornado. And my heart drops, because we have family in Tuscaloosa. And the first thing that I do is I get in touch with my wife's mother, because her sister lives there. They have nieces and nephews. And she also has a sister right outside of Tuscaloosa. So they got in contact with her, and they were hunkered down. The storm passed really fast, and they were safe. And I have to tell you that this tornado started in Mississippi, and it actually moved all the way to Georgia. So it cut a path, literally, all the way across the state. And I hear that it's moving into Birmingham. My little sister lives in Birmingham. She goes to school at Samford. She's the genius in the family, of course. So I get really nervous, and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get in touch with her? Because I've been trying to call her. She's not answering her phone. She has no coverage. Turns out she was in a basement. So I wasn't able to speak to her on the phone, but you know how I was able to get in touch with her? It was through Twitter. I sent my little sister a Twitter message, and in less than a minute, she responded, "I'm fine. We're in a basement. We're waiting for the storm to pass." And we waited for this storm to pass, and we kept this line of communication open. So was social networking relevant that day? It was relevant to me, because it was the only line of communication that I had. It was the only line of communication that I had with my little sister. A lot of people weren't so lucky. We actually have someone else in the family that heard the tornado coming, and something told him, go into this closet. Don't go into your closet. He went into his roommate's closet, and as the storm passed, he could hear it roaring, and when he opened the closet door, he looked out into a parking lot. It was all gone. His car was flipped upside down, and he picked the right closet. He probably wouldn't have made it if he would have chosen the other closet. Now, after this had passed, very shortly after it had passed, I actually went into Twitter and typed in tornado to see what was going on the ground. And you'd be amazed how quick it actually shows up. You're seeing pictures of the devastation. I mean, it looks like a bulldozer just went through the town. You're seeing videos, you're seeing people tweeting about the fact that they've lost everything that they have, but that they're fine. They're tweeting during the storm about how they're actually in a closet waiting for it to pass. But the videos were the most amazing. And one in particular really struck me. It was a tornado, and a man was in his car, and I would say he's probably 200 yards away from this F4 to F5 tornado. And you watch it come through a building, across a street, into a parking lot, and then across the corner of a mall. And you see part of the top of the mall pull off. It's a huge tornado. And then, of course, he breaks down after he realizes what he's just seen. And I'd like for you to take a look at this video. It's going to lay out what we're going to talk about in a minute, about how people made a really big difference with social media.
With this, as long as we keep power. If you watched us earlier this afternoon, we had a tornado just like that came through Coleman. I would suggest this might even be larger than the Coleman tornado.
I think it's much larger than that one.
This thing looks like it might be over 1/2 mile wide, maybe up to 3/4 of a mile wide.
It's coming across Joe Malisham Park. Actually, just past Joe Malisham Parkway.
Goodness, look at that.
That is huge.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This was actually posted to YouTube right after it happened. Before it was on the nightly news or in the newspaper. And at that moment I knew that there was going to be a process of rebuilding in the area. I knew that things had to be done. And a lot of other people knew the same thing, and they did some really, really amazing things with social networking. I want to start with one. It's a group called Tumors for Tuscaloosa, and they were on Facebook. As you can see, I actually just took this screenshot, and there are about 85,000 people. Right after it happened, it was a lot more than that. But what they're doing is they're meeting the needs of the people head on. And they're staying in touch with people on the ground in Tuscaloosa and in Birmingham, right? And they know exactly what they need. So people aren't showing up with a whole bunch of this and not enough of that. They're showing up with very precise things. Maybe it's baby food or socks or underwear or sunscreen or gasoline. And they were doing all of this through Facebook and Twitter. It's absolutely unbelievable the things they did. They could literally tweet out through Twitter, we need an 18-wheeler and a driver to take these things to Birmingham, and an 18-wheeler driver and his truck would show up. They did things like set up benefits, and they asked people, do you have planes that we can borrow to go pick up musicians, to bring them, to sing, so that we can have a fundraiser? And these people were able to gain access to jets through social networking. Now, I'd like to explain to you what Tumors is, okay? You know what Tuscaloosa is. That's where the University of Alabama is. Tumors is actually a place in Auburn University where people go after a football victory. And as you know, if you're a football fan, I would say that the Auburn-Alabama rivalry is probably the biggest rivalry in the country. All right? And it can get kind of nasty, it can get kind of volatile, but when it comes down to it, your groomsman was an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan, okay? You probably have family members that are as well, but we take football seriously in Alabama. I mean, very seriously. In fact, we're going to watch a game on this TV after we're done. So, we've got, I've got to show you what Tumors looks like.